This is the Creative Market Free Goods Roundup for the week of September 22nd, 2014. As per usual, these goods are free this week only, so if when you're watching this video, any of these goods look like something you might want to use, check out the description of this video where I'll place links to each one of them. We're going to start at the top here with Finny's 48. It's an iOS 7 icon pack. This package provides these icons as a PSD file as well as PNGs. I have Photoshop open here since that's a really easy way to show it. And inside the icons folder you have white icons as well as black icons, so there's that versatility. Of course you could always change the icons to be whatever color you wanted. And inside the folders you have each of the different elements on its own layer. And it's also important to note that these were drawn using shapes in Photoshop, so they are essentially vector. You can make these as big or as small as you want. I made this line really huge just so you can zoom in so you can see the line stays nice and sharp. I'll just zoom back out here. I really enjoy the style of all these icons. It's a very simple but really well executed style. All these work very well together as a family of icons to choose from. So if you have an app or a website that needs some icons, I think this would be really great if you're trying to go for that minimal but very professional look. And the selection overall is strong enough that hopefully you can find something in here you want. My particular favorite is this eyeball right here. It has a very cool style to it that I think works very well. So if you think you'll have use for these icons, or you just want to check them out and kind of see how they were made and what they look like up close, check it out. Next up is Tuesday Tumblr theme. If you aren't familiar with Tumblr, it's a social platform that allows you to build websites, sort of like a WordPress, but it's a little bit more gated than WordPress, but it's also a lot more friendly for new users. It has a really solid interface that allows you to very quickly and easily post photos, videos, sounds, and text. So this theme is very simple in its execution, and it's designed for one post per page, just like what you see right here. Up at the top here, there's room for some social icons, but the actual icon itself isn't loading for whatever reason, so I'm not sure if that's just me or if the theme maybe has some outdated links here. And also something that's very cool about Tumblr is that it's very easy to reblog posts. So up here there's a button that says reblog. So let's say you don't have a particularly strong following on Tumblr, but a really popular user happens to reblog your post. That can reach thousands of people really quick and easily, and it's something that not many other platforms can really achieve at the scale, at least in my experience, that Tumblr has. And this particular theme does have an archive of different posts, so I've went through a couple of them just to show what they look like. So here's a post that has a video attached to it, as well as some type at the bottom here. You can tell there's a tweet button, and here's another post that's just all type, so you can really make this work for whatever kind of content you're trying to do, and it's designed to be viewed as one post per page, just like we're seeing right here. And also something to note with this theme is responsive, so it'll look good on all kinds of different devices, including mobile, so that's always a big plus. So if you're looking for a very clean and simple layout that looks really good, the color choices and type choices look really nice on this might be a good theme for you. And also if you aren't familiar with the Tumblr platform, this is a good way to kind of go in there and explore it. It's actually a very powerful platform for sharing your work with a whole bunch of different people because the built-in sharing tools are super awesome. So if this looks like something you might want to get, definitely check it out. Next we have iPad Mini Mockup Bundle. This file includes 12 different PSD files as well as 12 different JPEGs, although I'd really recommend using Photoshop for this one to get the most out of it, as they have already went through and masked all the individual elements that you can place inside of these. And to do that, you just double click on the smart object in the file, which will open up a new window, which I've already done. So then you can place whatever image you want. I place this one, just hit save, which is Control S or Command S on a Mac, close that window, and then when you go back to the first one, you can tell it automatically updates the iPad screen with the image inside. Super easy to do, and all the hard work of masking these in there has already been done for you. There's neat reflections going off the screen, which gives this a really vibrant appearance. And it's also worth noting that if you look at this closely, you can tell there's a little bit of reflection going on over the actual screen, and they just did that by reducing the opacity, which is seen right here in your layers palette. So you can kind of adjust that to be as much or as little as you want, although I would recommend keeping it pretty high, because if you go too low, you can start seeing the actual icons on the screen below it. A lot of these have really great nature settings going on in the background, so I'm going to quickly go through them all so you can kind of see the different options. And a lot of these images are rotated, like this one right here, so that's a big plus because it gives it a little bit more realistic view. Looks like a shopping mall setting in the background of this one with another shopping mall here. And it's also nice to see people actually using the device. I could see this being used very well on a website that's actually demonstrating an app in use. A nice variation of settings throughout all of these, and the actual file size, if I go to image size, is 3000 by 2000 pixels, so that's big enough for most web or print applications that you want to throw this at. So if you think you'll have use for these, definitely check it out. And these bottom three goods are free on Facebook. To get them, just hit this free on Facebook button, like Creative Market, and then the download links will appear. It's super fast and easy to do. So I'm going to start at the left here with hand-drawn flowers set. This file includes 6 different EPS files as well as 6 different JPEGs, so whether you want to work in vector or raster, hopefully these will work for you. And there's 6 different types of flowers, so I'm going to go through each of the 6 different options here. And the first one, I believe, are called anemones. I might have said that wrong, hopefully not. The second one, we have some calla lilies. Here's a nice big hibiscus, and the line work on these is also very impressive. If you zoom in here, you can tell that a lot of work went into actually making these come alive, and they have a lot of movement to them with all the line work that goes into these. It really brings them to life. The next one is a lily, which is some really subtle coloration in this one. And also note the kind of neat texture in the background here, so you could just select the actual textures and bring them off to the side and use them on a separate illustration or design if that's something you want to do. Here we have a rose. Once again, note the neat pattern in the background, and the overall illustration looks really strong. The line work is really consistent, and it gives this a very nice overall look. And the last one here is tulips. So there's 6 different flowers to choose from. As you can see, the illustration style is very nicely done. There's a nice variety of different flowers to choose from, so hopefully you can get a whole lot of use out of this. I think my favorite of the bunch is this hibiscus. The detailed line work in this one's really fantastic. You get a really nice sense of depth and movement in this particular flower. So a very impressive pack, 6 different flowers, vector or raster, and if you think you'll have use for it, definitely check it out. Next up we have beautiful flowers. The file includes 10 different JPEGs as well as an EPS file, so I have it open in Illustrator here to show it, since that's a nice and easy way to do it. And as you can tell, there's 10 different flower illustrations to choose from, and I'm going to zoom in a bit so we can take a little bit closer look. As you can see, these have a really fun hand-drawn feel, and there's also a variety of different color options to choose from, so you can kind of mix and match colors from these different panels to kind of make something custom if that's something you're interested in doing. I think there's a strong variety of these flowers, and it's also very important to note that many of these, but not all of them, are repeating patterns. So I've went ahead and did that for a few of these. As you can tell, these really come to life when they're actually tiled in a pattern setting, so that's a really huge plus to this particular set, and I'm going to show you how to do that very quickly just in case you're interested. These ones on the top right here are repeating patterns, as well as these 3 on the bottom, and to make a repeating pattern that's very easy to apply, you just have to select the flower pattern you want to use, and then go to Object, and then Pattern, and then Make. And once you click that, it'll add something to your swatches panel. So go to Window and then Swatches near the bottom here and make sure that's selected. And as you can tell, I've preloaded a few of these patterns as swatches. So I'll quickly draw a shape here, just an easy square. And as you can see, if I switch through these different pattern options, it's very quick and easy for me to go through and make custom patterns. You might see some hairline fractures in these, but if you zoom in, you can tell that they go away, as that is just a bug within Illustrator. When you have really close things kind of meeting up to each other, they shouldn't actually print like that. So this is a really great pack, and there's definitely a lot of different flower options to choose from, and the repeating patterns are a huge bonus. So if you think you'll have use for this, I would definitely suggest you check it out. And last we have organic printed craft papers. This is a set of 11 different JPEGs, and the overall size of these is pretty big. So if I go to image and then image size, they're 3600 by 3600 pixels, which is 12 inches by 12 inches at 300 pixels per inch. And I think this particular set will be really good for anyone that's interested in digital scrapbooking, as the overall feel of these, if I zoom in right here, has a really nice handmade feel, and there's a wide variety of different papers to choose from, so I'm going to go through these very quickly here. This pattern right here is just of the overall paper texture, so if you wanted to add something of your own to this is a great starting point where you can kind of work off of, or just use it as a background on a website or behind a design or illustration. Should work great for that. This one right here is a really nice looking hand-drawn chevron pattern. If I zoom in here, it has a handmade feel. It looks very consistent in the overall quality, and I think they did a really nice job of bringing this particular pattern to life. Also, really quickly here, I just repeated this pattern, so you can tell that it is a seamless repeating pattern. So all these should be good no matter how big or small you want to use them. Just repeat them to suit your needs. Here's another chevron variation. As you can tell, it has a very nice handmade feel, very consistent line work throughout, and the textures, if I zoom in right here, are pretty fantastic. Another chevron pattern, a really nice variety of chevron patterns throughout this entire pack. This next one here is a set of dots, a really nice organic pattern. If I zoom in once again, you can tell the texture over these dots is very cool. I think this would work great as a paper you could wrap a product in, or if you had a box you want to give it an organic feel, this is a cool pattern for that. This next one's another dot pattern. It has a really neat handmade feel to it. I really like this one. I think it's a nice variation of the actual dot pattern. This next one here is a heart pattern with the hearts facing different ways. Kind of reminds me of a bunch of little Pac-Men, which I don't think was intended, but it's cool nonetheless. And like the others, the actual hearts have a very cool texture inside of them. A really cool amount of variation throughout the hearts here, and the gradation of the textures inside these is really strong. This is one of my favorite patterns from the set. Due to the variation of the lights, the darks, and all these different hearts here, there's a ton of texture going on in this one. And here's a star pattern. Great variation from the small to the big stars. Textures inside the stars look great as usual. Definitely a really cool pattern here. And the last one here is another stars pattern. Very cool handmade feel to this one. It's a lot of fun. A lot of different elements going on inside these stars. And it reminds me of something you'd see someone doodling on a book cover. Something in that order. It definitely has a very cool feel to it. Great textures inside these particular stars. And the amount of variation throughout them all is really great to see. So like I said before, I think this pack will be great, particularly for scrapbookers, but designers and illustrators that are looking to give whatever they're working on a really cool handmade feel, I would definitely recommend that you check this one out. So that's it for this week's free goods, and remember they are free this week only, so if any of them look cool to you, be sure to check out the description of this video. There'll be links for them there. And if you found this video helpful, please like and favorite, and if you want to see this video every week, please subscribe. This video is released every Monday to let you know what's new and free at Creative Market. Thanks for watching.